The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Welcome back once again, race fans, here to the Turn 3 Racing Network. Tonight, Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Series heads off into round number 8 here at Michigan International Speedway, as qualifying has already kicked off. We'll wait for a few of those drivers to put down some time lapse, but we will jump out there with that 6 of Robert Sadler, as he is one of those drivers out there putting down a qualifying lap. Oscar Gonzalez goes top of the speed charts. Quick time, 32:67. Shane Coogan gonna go ahead and snatch that one right away. How you doing? How you feeling out there in TV land, race fans? Glad you could all be with us here tonight on the Turn 3 Racing Network. As always, Darkside Dave in the cave bringing you all the calls from the track here tonight. Michigan International Speedway, a 2-mile track. We're here tonight for the Michigan 200, presented to you by BK Paints. If you're looking for a NASCAR paint or a wing sprint paint, that is some of their specialties. Founded back in 2013. Head on over to Facebook.com and check out BK Paints. We'll continue to watch Robert Sadler make his laps around the track here. Shane Coogan still sitting on the top of the speed charts. Gary Godso also out there on his time lapse. We'll go ahead and throw some of that information up for you right there on the bottom of your screen. Robert Sadler crossing the line. Let's see where Sadler's going to shake out. Looks like he's going to go 4th on the speed charts. Nobody else out there on a qualifying lap right now. Multiple drivers putting in a time lap, though, very early here in this 10-minute qualifying session. There you can see it, just about 3 minutes on the board. And as I mentioned, round number 8 here tonight. That means we are just on the cusp of the end of season number 3 here in Velocity Online Racing, iRacing IndyCar League. Has been a fast, furious, high-stakes-paced season all year long for these drivers. Julian Altada, Season 1 and Season 2 champion, not having a very good go at it this time by in season number 3, sitting outside of your top 5, and as a matter of fact, outside of your top 6 in the point standings. We'll get to that here in just a brief moment, waiting to see if we've got anybody else jumping out there on track, and indeed looks like the 18 of Gessler's out there on track. We'll go down trackside, see how Gessler goes. Gessler looking to put down a fast time here, see where he can break out here tonight. Gessler sitting decently into the points. 12th place on the speed charts right now. Quick time still held by last week's race winner Shane Coogan. Top of the speed charts right now, 32:59 for Coogan, although Diego Perino was right there, right behind him with a 32:59. As a matter of fact, your top 3 just separated by thousandths, not hundredths, but thousandths of a second. There you can see Gessler, bottom of the speedway, cutting the track right there. Gonna try to gain a little bit of an extra bit. Up to 4th with a 32:62. Good second lap there by Gessler. Victor Santos, as well as Alex Van Desant, Paul Rodriguez, Isaac Morris, Craig Forsyth, Matt Houston, Gavin Sanders, Luis Gonzalez, Nunez yet to get on the track. Nunez pulling off a pit road now. We'll jump out there with that 15 as he's on his up to speed off of pit road lap right here. Michael Jeffries also out there on track in his 22 machine. Dakota DiMaggio and Christian Alesio yet to put in a time lap as well. Halfway through tonight's qualifying session, we've got 13 drivers on the speed charts. Where will Luis Nunez go? Where can he slot that 15? We'll have to wait and see where it all goes, see how it all shakes out. And as we were saying before Nunez began his time laps here, last two races in season number 3 for drivers to try to get up there and take that top spot away. Very close points battle coming into tonight. Only 18 points separating your top 2 drivers in the point standings, 3rd through 6th. Another hot battle between all of those drivers. Just 21 points separating 3rd place from 6th place. So a lot of points still out there. A lot of stuff still on the line. Some things still just a little bit too far out of reach for a good handful of drivers throughout the points championship, and we'll get to that here in just a brief moment. Craig Forsyth is going to begin his time lap in his 27 machine. First time by for Luis Nunez, 32.98. Nunez off of turn number 4, back across the stripe, hugging that grass right there. We'll see all those drivers do that on that second time lap, trying to gain all they can get, and it looks like a common theme here. Everybody jumping to 4th, but no further. Nunez going to slot in that 4th time, nobody being able to do anything with Shane Coogan at the top of the speed charts right now. Quick time still, 32.59. And as we were saying, your championship standings coming into tonight's Michigan 200, presented to you by BK Paints here in Velocity Online Racing season number 3, round number 8. Isaac Morris, Dakota DiMaggio. Those 2 drivers are the ones battling for that points championship, the overall individual championship. Very close battle, just 18 points separate those 2 drivers. Luis Nunez as well as Alex Van Desant, Matt Houston, Gavin Sanders, they're all battling it out. You can go ahead and toss Julian Altina and last week's race winner Shane Coogan into that mix as well. They're right there just outside of that 21-point mark. Going to have 2 very, very solid finishes in these last 2 races here at Michigan International Speedway, as well as Worldwide Technology Raceway. That's right, we head to Gateway for the season finale, for the season championship here in season number 3 for Velocity Online Racing. And with just about 2 minutes remaining in qualifying, doesn't look like anybody's going to have anything for that driver at the top of the speed chart. Shane Coogan still holding strong with that 32.59. Dakota DiMaggio going to jump up on the speed charts all the way to 4th. Matt Houston jumps to 5th. That is going to give us 20 drivers on the timing and scoring for your qualifying session. With just about 2 minutes remaining, we're going to step away for just a brief commercial break, get things set and ready to go down trackside for the national anthem. So don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back.
Growing up as a kid in Oklahoma, where I'm from, the Chili Bowl is the biggest race that we have. The Chili Bowl has kind of been my favorite race of the year. Growing up a dirt racer in Oklahoma, that's kind of the holy grail.
broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Drivers already rolling on the track. We'll run down your starting lineup for tonight's the Michigan 200, presented to you by BK Paints here in Velocity Online Racing Season number 3, round number 8. Your pole sitter inside row number 1, the 29 of Shane Coogan. Lining up just to his outside, Diego Perino. Christopher Kresge going to line up in third. Dakota DeMage right there in fourth. Inside row number 3, Matt Houston in the 66 machine. Just to his outside, the 15 of Luis Nunez. Craig Forsyth and Thomas Gessler going to make up row number 4. And rounding out row number 5, Michael Jeffries. And in that 10th position, Bart Feurenstein. Robert Sadler and Alex Van Desant in row number 6. Row number 7, there you can find Julian Altena, Oscar Fredrickson. There is the rest of your rundown for tonight's race, and we get set to fire things off for the first time here tonight. Ford Mustang pace car gonna take that left-hand turn. Here we go. Green flag flies for the first time here tonight. 100 laps scheduled in the official race distance. 2-3 wide back through the rear of the field. Check this out. Victor Santos right there in third in that middle lane. 3 wide for just a brief moment. Drivers mixing it up very early here. We'll jump back just a little bit more towards the front of the field. Still got some side-by-side action right here. 3 wide in the middle goes Isaac Morris. Morris, your points leader coming into tonight's race in a heavy traffic, in a dangerous situation, almost 4 wide right behind him between Victor Santos, Gavin Sanders, and Robert Sadler. Sadler has an issue. Sadler off track and onto pit road. Sadler, oh, tough break back there for Sadler. You can see it in the background. You can see that smoke. Drivers not yet sorting it out just yet. Matt Houston, he's right here running in the 5th position all over the back end of Luis Gonzalez Nunez, who's just to the outside of Christopher Kresge. Kresge trying to keep that 3rd spot, but not looking like he's going to be able to do so. No caution so far here tonight. We stay clean all the way to begin lap number 3 out of the 100 scheduled in tonight's official race distance in round number 8. That's right, race fans, just tonight in one more round before we will crown our season champion. And unless Julian Altena can pull a miracle and have some drivers have some issues tonight and next Saturday night, doesn't look like he's going to three-peat on the championship. Matt Houston still running strong at the front, still looking for some spots. We've got drivers nose to tail. Check that out. Diego Perino right there running in that 2nd spot. Luis Gonzalez Nunez looking to his outside, trying to take that spot away, keep the momentum up, and keep the speed as much as he can through the corner, running a little bit different line. We'll have to wait and see how that affects these tires. Tires should run out well before these drivers actually need the fuel, but keep in mind you can make changes to those ARBs as well as the weight jacker, so that's you're able to somewhat help your setup out when it's a little bit too loose in traffic, or the front end travels a little bit too much, or you get a little bit of a understeer, oversteer, you're able to compensate with that weight. Oh, and almost into that outside wall. That was a big time moment there. I believe that may have been Thomas Gessler in the 18 Golf, sponsored Dallara IR18, and indeed it was almost hard contact with that outside wall. That was very, very close. Alex Van de Sande, Dakota DeMage right there lined up just behind them. Craig Forsyth and Isaac Morris now rounds out your top 10. Going to go back to this little battle going on between some of these drivers back through the field. Oscar Fredrickson, Victor Santos, they've got Gavin Sanders, Julian Altina right there in the back of this field. John Christensen, Bart Feurenstein, as well as Michael Jeffries, they're all packed up with each other as Godso looks to the inside of Jeffries. Godso gets another spot on Feurenstein. That's 2 for 1 for Jeffries as he starts to try to climb his way back up through the field. Jeffries has lost 8 spots from where he started tonight's race, sitting now in the 17th spot, so looking to gain a little bit more. Oh, driver down on the apron. Who is that? Oh, my goodness. Caution. Caution on the speedway. Oh, my. I believe that was Lewis Woodall involved in this one. There you can see Woodall on the bottom. Oh, my goodness. Multiple drivers just absolutely destroyed in this one. You can see the parts and pieces flying everywhere. The 13. Oh, my goodness. Another look at it there. You can see, getting up to speed and nowhere to go for those 2 drivers, and they are just absolutely demolished. Bart Feurenstein. Oh, my goodness. That is a hard lick. We'll take one more look at it here. Oh, there you can see tires, parts, pieces. They're going everywhere. Drivers up on the wall. Whew. Tough break there for the 13, the 88, as well as the 59. All involved in our very first incident here tonight. Caution flag flying on lap number 7. We'll rejoin the race at the front of this field with Shane Coogan as he continues to lead here tonight, has led the entire race, was your pole sitter, was your race winner last week when we hit the track. Coogan looking to go back-to-back race wins, looking to fight, scratch, and claw his way up towards maybe a top 3 in the point standings if he can. He is sitting just, I believe, right there in about that 7th position in the point standing. So Coogan with a late charge in the season, getting hot when it matters the most. Multiple drivers going to go ahead and come to pit road this time by. Looks like Craig Forsyth, Thomas Gessler, Michael Jeffries, Julian Altina, Oscar Gonzalez, John Christensen, Gary Godso, and Kristen Alejo, both coming to pit road. All those drivers coming to pit road for some tires, some fuel in service, some tires. Those Firestones don't last very long, but when they're good, boy, they are great. 8-lap difference on the tires for everybody that made it down pit road. Looks like our top 12 have stayed out on track, and very early here tonight in our first incident, we have drivers off the speedway and out of tonight's race. Looks like Robert Sadler as well as Lewis Woodall, both of those drivers out. I do believe Bart Feurenstein as well as Paul Rodriguez, they're going to be relegated off track and behind the pit wall as well and out of tonight's race. So that's going to leave us with just about 21 drivers left on the speedway, left on the lead lap. So that initial crash catching out 4 different drivers here tonight. So already Michigan claiming a few hearts. You know, as we did show that the point standings, and we'll get to do so a little bit later on in the evening if the time allows us. If we find ourselves under yet another caution, we'll go back and visit some of those point standings once again for you. But you got to worry about some of these drivers that they're on the outside completely looking in on the championship. Not anywhere close to being able to snatch the championship away with just 2 races remaining, but multiple battles back throughout that top 10 and even all the way back through your top 15 and 20th positions in the point standings. You've got drivers within 2 or 3 points of each other. You got point spreads of 4 or 5 different spots in the championship standings that are only separated by 10 or 11 points. So you've got multiple different drivers trying to make their way up through the point standings to try to help themselves guarantee a slot in next week's race as well as into next season. Different teams coming around, and it looks like some drivers stepping away from the track. Robert Sadler, unfortunately, stepping away from the Velocity Online Racing team. Isaac Morris coming aboard, gonna take over that slot and represent it well for Sadler's. We get set to go back green flag racing. Once again, the Ford Mustang pace car off of turn number 4, down and away. Field in the hands of your leader. Green flag flies as Shane Coogan hits that loud pedal, and he darts off without any problems up through the gears. Nobody's going to stay with him. We'll jump back, take a little look as these drivers do make their way up through the gears and up to speed. Everybody clean and clear on this restart. It does appear to be so. Jumping back to your top 15, there you can see Gavin Sanders. He's got Julian Altina right behind him. 3-car battle just in front. Thomas Gessler in the middle once again. This is the second time we've seen Gessler 3 wide here tonight at Michigan International Speedway. Making it work once again. He's going to take a spot away from Marcus Houston. Now Gessler looking for a little bit more. Shane Coogan does have a little bit of a fight on his hands. We'll jump back up to the front here in just one moment. Now we'll go up front because Luis Gonzalez Nunez to the bottom of the track. He's looking for the race lead. Nunez going to have the top spot as they make their way off of turn number 4. New race leader for the first time here tonight. Oh, maybe. And indeed, right at the line. Able to keep that race lead. So Luis Gonzalez Nunez snatching a point here, putting that in his back pocket, and that's going to do him some justice for the point standings as well. Matt Houston, Diego Perino, they're battling back there for 3rd and 4th on the track. We'll jump back here with this little hot and heavy battle. As to the inside, Perino drops to the bottom. He's going to look to take the 3rd spot away. Christopher Kresge, he's closing in pretty quickly. He's got Alex Van de Sande and Victor Santos right there in line in tow with him. There you can see that 16 and 17 on the track. Isaac Morris, your points leader. He's battling right here with Santos and Damage. Damage, driver sitting 2nd in the points, running very close to that points leader, trying to keep him in sight, and I think that very well may be a good strategy as Damage now looks to the inside. He's looking to take a spot away from Morris. He has the run in the center, not going to have it on the exit. Morris going to prevail on that outside lane. Oscar Fredrickson, Christian Jasper, and Thomas Gessler lined up just behind them. Close little battles. Look at this one. 3-4 cars involved in this one right here on the track. That's Thomas Gessler, Craig Forsyth, Gavin Sanders, Julian Altina, all right there battling for a spot just outside of your top 10. I do believe that is for the 11th, 12th, 13th position on the track. Ooh, big move there by Gavin Sanders. Sanders was last week's pole sitter, having to make his way up through the field here tonight. He's up 9 spots from where he started tonight's race, now running in the 15th. Oh, and a big-time wiggle off of turn number 2 on the bottom of that speedway. Gar got wicked loose right there, tail end almost snapping around, and that's going to lose a little bit of ground to the field just off in front of him. Julian Altina able to step out to a half a second advantage with just that little bit of a wiggle. Back to the front, you've got Victor Santos running the high line here at Michigan. Haven't really seen these drivers run that high line very often here. They tend to like that bottom to middle lane, but Victor Santos running that high line through 1 and 2. Gonna have to keep our eye on that one, see if that is a continued line. As back at the front of the field, battle still underway between Luis Gonzalez Nunez and Shane Coogan. They continue to swap that race lead back and forth as we are on lap number 18 out of the 100 scheduled in tonight's official race distance. It's the Michigan 200, brought to you by BK Paints. BK Paints, if you're looking for a NASCAR paint or a wing sprint car paint job for your iRacing machine, head on over to Facebook.com and check out BK Paints, specializing in both of those aspects, but multiple other paint jobs available for you as well. So go ahead, reach out to them, give them a shout out, and tell them that Dark Side Dave and Velocity Online Racing sent you, and you'll still get a paint. Have had the opportunity to go and check out some of the paints and the liveries that those guys do over there at BK Paints, and they are absolutely top notch. Do think I'm gonna snatch a paint job or two up from these players anyway. So been established since 2013, so been around that long. You gotta have a pretty darn good reputation, and now top spots already beginning to dissipate just a little bit. These top two drivers have stepped away from the field. Luis Gonzalez Nunez and Shane Coogan, they continue to swap that front spot. They continue to swap back and forth that race lead, but they have opened up a 1.3 second advantage over Diego Perino. There you can see Perino still involved with the battle with Alex Van de Sande, Matt Houston, and Victor Santos. They're on their way into that battle for that third and fourth spot on track. Looking through the timing and scoring, though, Victor Santos right now, driver in that Twitty machine. There you can see him, fourth car in line in this little pack. He is your biggest mover of the race so far here tonight, running in the 6th position, but up 15 spots from where he started and slotted in tonight's race. So big tip of the cap there by Santos. He is on the move and on a roll very early here tonight from Michigan International Speedway in the Michigan 200. Gonna jump back right there. You can see once again a little different angle, little different view for you. Let's see if we can't go down to one of our onboard camera shots. There you can see just over that driver's side, that left side shoulder of Alex Van de Sande, as there you see Diego Perino's gearbox just off in front of him, and look at the speed gained right there in that slipstream, and all of a sudden Van de Sande has to drop down to the bottom of the speedway. Another look back at the driver right there in that 17. Van de Sande looking good so far here tonight. Back above the track here with our Turn 3 drone cam here at Michigan International Speedway, trying to give you all the great action and camera shots that we can here. Top spot still not yet settled down. 24 laps into tonight's race, and that top spot has not been securely secured. Is that a word? Is that a possibility? Can we get somebody to check on that one? Okay, thank you. Swapping this race lead back and forth, Luis Gonzalez Nunez as well as Shane Coogan back and forth, back and forth. Coogan was last week's race winner, trying to do the repeat. Luis Gonzalez Nunez with a solid run last week as well, looking to have another solid finish and help his championship hopes out. But these two, as I've said, neither one of them being the dominant car just yet. And it does look like that gap they've had of about 1.5 seconds over Alex Van de Sande and Diego Perino, it's starting to dissipate just a little bit as they continue to do this leapfrog action, the swap back and forth lap after lap. 25 laps on these tires, and they're still able to make some pretty fast and quick moves out there on the speedway. And looking through the timing and scoring, race fans, we'll jump back to the driver with the highest running driver with the fresh tires. There you can see Thomas Gessler in his 18 machine running in the 12th spot. So these drivers that came down pit road, they haven't really gained any ground. As a matter of fact, Gessler's sitting about, oh, Big moment in the back of the field. Marcus Hudson. Oh, my goodness. Hudson destroyed. We'll take a look here, see what happened to Hudson. But we've seen the aftermath. There you can see that 48 just gets loose, not able to. Oh, my goodness. That is some hard impact right there. Caution flag does come out after the crash there with Marcus Hudson just getting loose, not able to save the car, and around it goes. Hard impact with that inside concrete safer barrier, but not much safer for the car. Parts and pieces flying down the backstretch. Caution flag gonna fly for the second time here tonight in the Michigan 200. Brought to you by BK Paints. And as we were talking about, race fans, we'll go ahead and see if we can't get rid of some of this information on screen for you and go ahead and run back down some of those championship points coming into tonight's race. As we spoke about in the pre-race, just 18 points separate Isaac Morris from Dakota DeMage. But more importantly, as we were saying, race fans, the drivers back here, look at them running Julian Alton, Shane Coogan. They're right there, 158 points on the season, but they've got drivers just in front of them, 160, 171 points. So from third all the way really back to about 8th or 9th, all still up for grabs here tonight. Looks like all the way back to 10th, actually. So from 3rd to 10th, still hot and heavy battle between all of those drivers. It looks like Oscar Fredrickson kind of in no man's land by himself. But Maxi Stang, Victor Santos, Gary Gonzo, they're right there mixing it up, as well as Craig Forsyth, Dave Stedman, Michael Jeffries. They can very well jump up through the field and possibly, maybe if they can somehow string it together, they might be able to slot themselves into a top 10, but I don't believe they're going to be able to make up at least 50 points. But still, multiple different battles through the whole entire points chart coming into tonight's race. We'll look a little bit further back through the top 20. There you can see Robert Sadler just in front of Diego Perino. Perino running very strong here tonight. That's going to put him up inside the top 20, and that's going to allow him to feel a little bit safer heading off into next week's race. Anthony Concha, Marcus Hudson, Lewis Woodall right there battling for a spot, as well as Jamie Jenkins, who's not actually here tonight. Haven't seen Jenkins out there tonight on the speedway at all, and indeed not able to make it to the field here tonight. So that too of Jenkins going to stay back around that 25th spot in the point standings. And, you know, that's what we were talking about. When these drivers have a little bit of issues and they're on pit road for a little while, and their cars aren't quite the best. They're not fully destroyed, but they're not actually good. You know what I mean? Drivers still persevering, soldiering on, trying to get every point they can, because it gets you to a point like this late in the season where those small few 1 or 2 points nights that you gained go a very long way. Multiple different positions, just a handful of points being separated between all of the drivers through the field here. Now it looks like we've got a new race leader at the front of the field. Alex Van de Sand gonna get down pit road and back off with the race lead. So big tip of the cap for that 17 and his entire crew getting the job done. I'll tell you what, let's see if we can't go down there with a little onboard camera. Let's see if we've got that on board. There it is, looking back over that rear spoiler of Alex Van de Sand, back at Diego Perino, Victor Santos, Shane Coogan, and Isaac Morris. We'll round out your top 5 for this latest restart as we get ready to fire things off once again here in the Michigan 200, presented to you by BK Paints. Yes, indeed, pace car lights are off. We're ready to go back. Green flag racing this time by on this hot 2-mile track. Tell you what, we haven't really looked at it yet tonight, so why don't we go ahead and throw some of that information up for you. 104-degree track temperature, very slick track out there, 78 degrees, so not a very rough night, not much of a wind out there either to really upset these cars, but what's probably upsetting the cars a little bit more than then the other things is the fact that the track is that hot. These drivers putting a lot of heat down in the track as well. These higher downforce cars known to keep the tires digging to the track, known for getting the track surface temperature to raise a little bit faster, a little bit higher. But right now, Alex Van de Sande looking to set sail on the field. The Ford Mustang pace car going to duck off. There it is on the bottom of the raceway, and we'll get set to fire things off once again. Waiting for it. On the gas, green flag flies once again here in the Michigan 200, presented to you by BK Paints, and up through the gears, no problem. Van de Sande scoots away from the field. We'll jump back, take a little look at some of the battles going on back here right around that 5th through 9th position. You can see drivers starting to stack up just behind him. Dakota DeMage running behind Christopher Kresge. Matt Houston right there in 7th. Julian Altina slowly making his way up towards the top 10. Altina now in the 11th position, up 2 spots from where he started tonight's race. This is some of your closest battles right here on the track, so we'll stay right here battling it out for a spot inside the top 10. Dakota DeMage, Thomas Gessler, Julian Altina, Gavin Sanders right here in the mix, as well as Oscar Fredrickson. So multiple drivers trying to mix it up, trying to heat it up here as Shane Coogan. Oh my goodness! Drivers flipping down the track. Diego Perino involved. Oh my goodness. Marcus Hudson, I believe, was involved. Shane Coogan, Victor Santos. Oh my goodness. We've got to take another look back here, see how it all went down, see what happened here. There you can see already drivers going around. We'll take one more look at it, see if we can't catch it. Oh, Victor Santos. Drivers flipping down the track, too. That is just, oh my goodness. Look at Santos's machine torn up. One more look at it. Oh, Perino for a ride. Oh my goodness. Look at him flipping down the track. Shane Coogan, last week's race winner. We'll ride with him for this one. Oh my God. Flipping, spinning, smashing. Oh my goodness. 3 drivers caught up in this latest one, and there you can see not a tire still attached on that 29 of Shane Coogan. Tough break there as we find ourselves back under caution very quickly here tonight from Michigan International Speedway. And as we do find ourselves under caution for the 3rd time here tonight under a very quick caution, we're going to go ahead and step away from the track for a brief commercial break. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back. And back trackside as the Ford Mustang pace car gets ready to duck off. Van de Sant ready to hit the gas. Green flag flies. Once again now with Isaac Morris right there in the 63 machine sitting in that second spot. Close battle here. Matt Houston up into the fourth spot. He's going to look for more here tonight. Side by side just behind them, Christopher Kresge, Dakota DiMaggio, and Julian Altsina now well inside your top 10, running in that sixth spot. He's looking to the outside of Kresge. Kresge gonna get dropped back 2 spots as DiMaggio and Altsina both make their way around on the high side. Here comes Thomas Gessler now inside the top 10, running back right where he started in the 8th position. So good job by Gessler to regain the early ground lost here. Lap number 37 now on the books as Julian Altsina looks to the inside of Dakota DiMaggio. That's a battle for that final top 5 position, and they have got a hot and heavy battle right there with them. You can see a lot of drivers lined up right behind them all the way back to the 90 machine of Gavin Sanders, who's up 14 spots from where he started tonight's race. And a little bit of house cleaning indeed in order here after our third caution of the evening. Shane Coogan, Diego Perino, Victor Santos all caught up in that latest one. They're all back behind pit wall and out of tonight's race. So we started tonight with 25 drivers. We have got just 17 left on the track. All 17 of those drivers on the lead lap. So your last week's race winner will not get to repeat, will not get to go back-to-back, and will not have a chance at the three-peat at the end of the season. Shane Coogan gonna finish back in the 18th position out of tonight's race after a hard crash flipping down the backstretch. Just glad to see Coogan climb out of that machine after that hard impact back at the front, though. Still nose to tail, front to back. First, second, third, Alex Van de Sant, Isaac Morris, Kristen Jasper with a splash. Where did Jasper come from? Wherever he came from, it was back outside of your top 10. He's up 12 spots from where he started tonight's race, back in the 15th position. So Christian Jasper doing a heck of a job out there, and he's going to look to the outside of Isaac Morris. Not sure if he's going to have that run or not, but he is indeed looking to the outside. Julian Altsina all over that gearbox of Matt Houston as well. And I tell you what, race fans, while we've got these drivers all packed up, all grouped up with each other, why don't we run down, head down trackside for a little bit of sight and sounds with our Turn 3s. Turn it up. Gonna be a little bit quiet here as we do all this, so enjoy the sights and sounds here from Michigan International Speedway. Man, oh man, love when we get to get that close and up close and personal with the racing action out there on the track. Big shout out to everybody back at the Turn 3 headquarters for all the hard work getting all the cameras attached to all of the cars, and a big tip of the cap as well to all of the drivers and teams out there allowing us to put these great action shots on the cars out here tonight. And as we were under that turn it up segment, Alex Van de Sande lost the race lead for just a brief moment to Isaac Morris. Now he's going to take that top spot back. Julian Altena has gained some ground, now running in the third and final podium spot. As we cross the line to begin lap number 49, do want to take a brief moment to thank sponsor here in Velocity Online Racing. Do want to take a big moment to thank Matt Houston and RaceVerse over there sponsoring the $100 prize pool for the Drivers' Championship this season, and as well as coming on board for that Drivers' Championship pool for next season as well. So big tip of the cap for everybody over there at RaceVerse, as well as Velocity Online Racing's very own Matt Houston. Houston doing a fine job, dedicating a lot of time to ensuring things run smoothly and run great, and all of the drivers, admins, and individuals in this league want to give you a big shout out and a big thank you for all you do, for your continued commitment to not just the league, but this entire, not just the series, but this entire league. So big time job well done, and tip of the cap to you, my friend Matt Houston, out there running right now in the 12th spot, having a little bit of a rough go here tonight, down 7 spots from where he started tonight's race, but still out there on track, giving it all he's got, still battling for those top spots though. Isaac Morris, Alex Van de Sande, you can see them still not having that quite sorted out, and here comes Thomas Gessler. He's looking for a way around Gavin Sanders, who's just up in front of him. Luis Gonzalez Nunez slotted just to the outside. And here comes Oscar Fredrickson and Christopher Kresge. They're up in the mix. That's all battles inside of your top 10 as we have just passed the halfway point here tonight. Lap 52 out of the 100 scheduled in tonight's official race distance in the Michigan 200. Presented to you by BK Paints. If you're looking for a fresh paint scheme, you need a new livery, head on over to Facebook.com and check out BK Paints. 4 very different lines through 3 and 4. There you can see drivers all stacked up, running with each other. Gavin Sanders, Thomas Gessler, as well as Luis Gonzalez Nunez, Christian Jasper falling behind the 8 ball just a little bit. Jasper was sitting up inside that top 3, now running in the 8th position, so falling through the field just a little bit here in this longer run, but still making out pretty well compared to where he started tonight's race, up 7 positions, now running in that 8th spot, and he's going to gain yet 1 more position, now put him back into 7th as Gessler looks for more. He looks to the outside of Luis Gonzalez Nunez, and he's going to have the spot by the time they make their way to turn 1. Back at the front, though, this battle has not went away. Your top 4 drivers all packed up with each other. Isaac Morris, Alex Van de Sande, and then Julian Altena has just a little bit of a gap back to Gavin Sanders. Then a hot and heavy battle from there on out. These drivers all packed up with each other as Van de Sande drops to the bottom of the track. He's going to look for the top spot once again on Morris. Gonna have the spot with ease, no harm, no foul, no problem for Van de Sande. He's gonna take the top spot at the line, but here comes Morris after that slipstream. He's gonna drop to the bottom in turn 1 and take that lead back by the time they exit off of turn number 2. Here comes that big run once again by Van de Sande, and he's gonna look to the bottom into turn 3. This is going to be a very common theme over the next handful of laps. When will Julian Altena put his number 1 Delara IR18 sponsored by Velocity Online Racing Team? When will he put that machine up there and try to utilize that slipstream himself and try to see if he can't make it a 3-wide battle for the race lead? Because Gavin Sanders, he is closing in quite quickly. Drivers starting to fall back and fade just a little bit. There you can see Luis Gonzalez Nunez. He's about a half a second or more off of Gavin Sanders. He's got himself about a half a second gap back to Christian Jasper, who's got Thomas Gessler still fighting for positions. Oscar Gonzalez sitting right there in the 8th spot. Oscar Fredrickson and Dakota DeMage round out your top 10. And as we do slowly start to wind down the night here, do want to take a brief moment to talk about the team standings, those constructor points coming into tonight's race. Raceverse not needing very many points here tonight to secure that championship. I do believe just about maybe 3 or 4 points is all they need to be able to secure the championship, and I think they very well may have already done that. So looks like the team championship sponsored by Velocity Online Racing Team. That $50 prize pool, looks like we know who the winner in that's gonna be. Looks like your constructors champions are gonna be Team Raceverse here in the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar League. So big time accomplishment here in season number 3 for Team Raceverse. They're going to walk away with that Constructors Championship. We'll have to wait and see how everything shakes out next season, whether all these drivers return for Raceverse or if they'll have a little bit of a silly season of their own. Gavin Sanders going to take away that 3rd spot from Julian Altina on the bottom of the raceway, as Alex Van de Sande, he also takes that top spot back away from Isaac Morris. So we've got 2 small battles here at the front of the field. Battle for your top spot, battle for 3rd and 4th on track. With 40 laps remaining here tonight, drivers gonna still have to hit pit road at least one more time before they can make it to the end of tonight's race. Looks like the majority of the field was last down on pit road back on lap number 28. So right around the 40 laps ago mark, and we have got, well, just under 40 laps to go here tonight. So drivers right there on the edge of that fuel window opening up. Who's going to come to pit road first? Who's going to attempt the undercut? Will Altina try to gain some track speed, some track time, some track position with an undercut? Or will he be content to pit with the drivers around him? What's going to happen with your top 2? Who's going to get a pit road penalty? We haven't seen green flag pit stops yet here tonight for the Michigan 200 presented to you by BK Paint. So how will these drivers fare trying to come down, get it to speed, and onto pit road with the older tires? And it does look like we've had an incident on track. It does look like timing and scoring showing Craig Forsyth in the 27 machine having a little bit of a moment. So we'll take a look back here, see what happened with Forsyth. Oh, and just a lazy little spin there for Craig and up into the outside wall. A little bit of damage on that machine. He keeps it fired up, gets it going, so we'll keep it going. Back at the front with the battle for the race lead. Isaac Morris has that top spot. Still Alex Van de Sande, Julian Altina, Gavin Sanders lined up right behind them. No change at the front of this field as they have stepped away. Your top 5 have pulled away from Thomas Gessler, running back in that 6th position. So drivers starting to assert their dominance late in the going here tonight from Michigan International Speedway for the Michigan 200. Presented to you by BK Paints, established back in 2013. If you're looking for a hot livery on your Dallara, you're looking for a fresh NASCAR paint scheme where you've got a wing sprint you need a wrap job done on, hit these guys up. Some great work over there at BK Paints. You can find them Facebook.com at BK Paints. Battle still raging on for the race lead. Van de Sande and Morris swapping back and forth over and over again. No real driver really having the upper hand. No driver really having the advantage. As Altina, he goes way to the high side there in turns 1 and 2. And we've got a little bit of a stack up back here with Altina, Sanders, and Luis Gonzalez Nunez. Nunez looking to crack up inside those podium spots. Nunez sitting back in the 4th spot. He took away that 4th position from Gavin Sanders, who's going to drop back now to the 5th spot. And while these drivers continue to just swap these positions around, we're going to jump back here to another 3-car battle on the track. There you can see that 82 of Dakota DiMaggio. He drops to the bottom, makes up a spot on Christian Jasper. Christopher Kresge and Oscar Fredrickson lined up just behind them. Gary Gonzo also running just outside of the top 10, running in that 12th spot. But John Christensen, Christian Alejo, as well as Craig Forsyth, all three of those drivers bring their machines down pit road. So that will start our green flag pit stop cycle. Which one of your front runners is going to come down pit road first? We'll have to wait and see how it all shakes out back at the front, though. These two have stepped away to just about a 1-second advantage over Luis Gonzalez Nunez, who's fighting with Gavin Sanders and Julian Altina for that 3rd, 4th, and 5th position on the track. But Alex Van de Sande, man, I'm telling you what, he is running strong here tonight and looking pretty smooth. Isaac Morris has his hands full and does not have a clear-cut advantage as Julian Altina, Oscar Gonzalez, Christian Jasper, and Christopher Kresge all come to pit road this time by. So another 4 drivers with their green flag pit cycles underway. Isaac Morris down on the bottom of the speedway. He has a shot to come to pit road this time if he wants to. Looks like he's going to peel off. Van de Sande going to peel off with him. Luis Gonzalez Nunez going to stay out on the track as Gavin Sanders comes down pit road with your top 2 drivers. Luis Nunez, Thomas Gessler, Dakota DiMaggio, Gary Gonzo, and Oscar Fredrickson remain on the track. They have last been on pit road 40 laps ago. Now just about 31, 32 laps remaining here, so everybody going to be able to make it on the fuel. And indeed, Nunez going to break off and come to pit road this time by Thomas Gessler. He wants a little more. He wants a point in his back pocket. Going to cross the line with the race lead. So Gessler going to get a point for leading a lap here. And he's going to put multiple drivers down 1 lap. But they are going to be very, very fast. Much faster than that 18 of Gessler on very old tires. Dakota DiMaggio yet to come to pit road. Michael Jeffries still out there on track as well. First driver in this pack right behind your race leader, trying to run up and get themselves back onto the lead lap. Isaac Morris, Alex Van de Sande, and Gavin Sanders all battling for a position as they make their way by Luis Gonzalez Nunez, who's also going to be now scored down off of the race lead, off of the lead lap. Michael Jeffries in the 22. He's going to come to pit road this time by. So Jeffries ready to pit, ready for those Firestones. And there you can see Thomas Gessler down on the pit road. So that will leave the field in the hands of this man right here. I do believe Isaac Morris will have the race lead when this is all said and done. Gessler and DiMaggio on the pit road right here already. Gessler down to his box, getting ready to pull in 3, 2, 1, down in his box now. Gonna keep an eye on these drivers and see if Gessler somehow able to get out of pit road fast enough to keep a hold of this lead pack as they make their way off of turn number 4, coming back across the stripe, already down and away, off of pit road, up through the gears. Gessler, there you can see him, he's trying, he's giving it all he's got on the bottom, but he is not going to have enough time to get up to speed. There you can see Gessler falling just a little bit behind. He very well may be able to slot in there with Luis Gonzalez Nunez, maybe Julian Altina, as Isaac Morris loses that top spot back to Alex Van de Sande once again. Van de Sande takes the sweep down to the bottom of the track and back up right across the nose of Isaac Morris. Now Morris looking to repay the favor as they head back towards turn number 1 to begin lap number 73 out of the 100 scheduled in tonight's official race distance. It's the Michigan 200, brought to you by BK Paints. And as we close in on less than 30 laps to go here tonight, if you haven't already, race fans, throw these drivers a thumbs up. Click subscribe and smash the bell over there on the right-hand side. Get notified anytime we go live here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Whether it's myself, Darkside Dave in the cave, or anybody else back at the Turn 3 headquarters, we do appreciate each and every one of you each and every time you stop by. Whether you're casually sliding on through or you're the dedicated fan, friend, or family, we do appreciate each and every one of you. And if you haven't already, as I've already said and asked, throw these drivers a thumbs up. Morris looks to the bottom of the speedway once again, looking for the switch as Van de Sande going to keep it wound up at the high side. Gavin Sanders right here closing in. It's going to be a 3-car battle for your race lead down the backstretch now. Just 26 laps remaining here in the Michigan 200, presented to you by BK Paints in round number 8 of season number 3 for the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar League. Right here on iRacing.com, the world's #1 racing simulator. If you want to get in one of these IndyCar machines and mix it up with some of the drivers right here on the field, well, first you got to start off by getting the service, and then after that, I promise you, that's all she wrote. iRacing, one of the biggest platforms out there for drivers to hone their skills in real-life racing as well as just their esports racing. And if you think you got what it takes to mix it up with these great IndyCar racing drivers, head on over to the league directories on the iRacing.com homepage and check on out Velocity Online Racing. Season number 4 sign-ups are already open. So if you're looking to get yourself in a great IndyCar league, right here on the Turn 3 Racing Network, back at it once again for season number 4 with these great IndyCar Series drivers. Head on over to Velocity Online Racing. Top 3 still battling for that top spot. First, second, third, Isaac Morris, Alex Van de Sande, as well as Gavin Sanders. All of those drivers up double digits from where they started tonight's race. Your top 2 drivers up 11 and 15 spots from where they started. Gavin Sanders with a big move on tonight's race. Actually, your biggest mover of the race, up 20 positions from where he started tonight's race. Sanders now running in the 3rd spot, started all the way outside of your top 20, all the way back there in the 23rd spot. Thomas Gessler now has company. He's got Luis Gonzalez Nunez, who has Julian Altina in tow as well. So these 3 drivers mixing it up for a spot on the speedway as well. As we close in on just 20 laps to go here in the next few moments, drivers are going to have to start I don't want to necessarily say giving it all they've got, because they have been giving it all they've got all night long. Just 4 caution flags here tonight. We had a quick 2 or 3 right there, almost back to back. We have had a very, very long green flag run all the way from lap number 34 is when that last caution flag flew. So drivers getting the job done out there, staying clean and green since that last restart. Now to the bottom of the track, Oscar Gonzalez looks to take a spot away from Julian Altina. He's going to slide up the track, not come up and across the nose, so Altina going to be able to fight back on that outside lane. I tell you what, we're going to jump back to this battle just inside of your top 15. There you can see Christian Alesio with John Christensen and Michael Jeffries all lined up with each other, trying to chase down the man just in front of Alesio. That is Christian Jasper. Jasper running in that 11th spot. They've got about 4.5 seconds to make up to get inside the top 10. And will anybody get to Fredrickson running in that 12 machine, sitting in that final spot inside the top 10? There you see up at the top of the speedway, losing a little bit of ground, falling a little bit further behind Matt Houston. It looks like he has fell way behind the field. That race first driver, there you can see him, I believe, right in front of your race leaders, Isaac Morris, Alex Van de Sande. They're going to make their way by down on the inside lane. So Houston will fall victim to your race leaders and be scored as the first driver off the lead lap. The first driver 1 lap down, running back in the 16th position. Back to the biggest battle on the speedway. That's the battle at the front of the track. There you can see Isaac Morris. Big run down the backstretch. He'll look to the inside on turn number 3. Grab that spot away with ease. But here we see Alex Van de Sande. We've seen him do it multiple times throughout tonight's race. He's going to get the slipstream back. Will he be close enough to use that drop down and pull the switch? He's going to look to the high side this time in turn number 1. Up the track, feeding him a little bit of that dirty air was Isaac Morrison, not being able to get the run. But here comes that big run back down the backstretch, and Alex Van de Sande gonna drop to the bottom. Sanders looked to follow through for the moment, but Sanders thought better of it. Gonna stay slotted in just behind Morris, now running. Still in that 3rd position. Sanders, he has been there pretty much all night. This second little run we had since the drop of that restart, drop of the green flag back on our latest restart. Sanders has been fired off and doing very well up here inside your top 3. There you can see Thomas Gessler, Luis Gonzalez Nunez, Julian Altena all lined up right here in this little pack, 4th, 5th, and 6th on the track. Oscar Gonzalez right there as well. We can go ahead and include him up in this mix with these drivers as they make their way back off of turn number 4. Just 15 laps now remaining in tonight's The Michigan 200, presented to you by BK Paints, live right here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Once again, glad you could all join us here tonight as always. Darkside Dave bringing you all the calls, and big time moment there for Oscar Gonzalez. Big time moment off of turn number 2. He's going to have to regroup and rethink things right here behind Julian Altena for another lap or so. That's going to heat up those rear tires just a little bit for Gonzalez. So he's going to have to regroup, rethink the pass, and see if he can't get the job done next lap, next time around. Still looking to the bottom, looking to the inside of Julian Altena, trying to take that, the 6th spot away. Thomas Gessler slotted in just in front of Altena. And still that 3-car battle for your race lead, still hot and heavy. So we'll jump back up front here as Isaac Morris looks to the bottom of the speedway. 13 laps now remaining as the drivers cross the line, that time by Van de Sande. Back to the top of the track once again. We'll see him get that big run off of turn 2 and down the backstretch. He's got that slipstream, and here he comes looking to the bottom. There you can see it. Once again, as always, or not as always, as we have seen both of these drivers utilize that very same maneuver lap after lap, and now repaying the favor with the crossover after grabbing the slipstream, looking to the bottom of the speedway. Alex Van de Sande going to lose that top spot once again to Isaac Morris. We've had, I don't know, at least 50 or 60 lead changes, but we've only had maybe 5 or 6 race leaders. These two drivers have been the dominant cars at the front under the green flag conditions. We had a handful of drivers lead a lap during the cycle of green flag pit stops. And as we whittle on down on these laps, we close in on just 10 laps remaining here. Isaac Morris, Alex Van de Sande, that battle between those two drivers that has brought multiple other drivers back up into the mix. Luis Gonzalez Nunez right there once again in striking distance with Gavin Sanders, Thomas Gessler, Julian Altena, and Oscar Gonzalez able to make up quite a bit of time, as now Christopher Kresge and Michael Jeffries, both of these drivers struggling to try to keep themselves on the lead lap. And Kresge gonna fall victim to your race leader, Alex Van de Sande, so that's gonna leave us now with just 13 drivers. Oh my goodness, big time moment there. And the rest of the field, I'm not sure if they knew they were following him. They were all trying to snake and stay in the slipstream, and Alex Van de Sande with a big moment off of turn number 2. That had him weaving hard to that inside, and the whole field kind of followed through. That was a pretty close moment there for multiple drivers. Thomas Gessler right there running in the 5th position. Good time run right here. Big time shout out to Gessler. He's got Julian Altena lined up just behind him. Oscar Gonzalez running in that 7th position, still right here in striking distance. Your top 7 have broken away from the rest of the field. They have about a 12.5-second race advantage back over Oscar Gonzalez. Dakota DeMage sitting just outside of that gap. Way back in the 8th spot, Gary Gotso, Oscar Fredrickson, and Christian Alacio back there rounding out your top 10, and all the way to the 11th and 12th position, John Christensen and Michael Jeffries now being scored as the last driver on the lead lap. Back in the 13th position, battle for the top spot, still hot and heavy, 4-car battle for the race lead. Late in the going here at the Michigan 200, presented to you by BK Paints, and round number 8 of season number 3 for Velocity Online Racing. And here we go, race fans. 100 laps scheduled in tonight's official race distance. That's 200 miles around this track here tonight. And here we are down to the last 7 laps, and we have still got 5, 6, 7 drivers all packed up right here with each other, all with a chance, all with a shot to lead and win tonight's race. Late in the going there, you can see Julian Altena way up the track. Close moment there for Gavin Sanders. 3 wide as Gonzalez looks to the bottom. Oh my goodness, driver around through pit road. Hard impact to the inside wall. Oscar Gonzalez goes around. Luis Gonzalez Nunez mixing it up with Thomas Gessler now. That's a battle for the 3rd and 4th spot on the track. Gessler up to the high side. Isaac Morris has been able to regain control of the race lead. Hasn't been able to step away, though. These top 2 stepped out to just about a 0.3 of a second race advantage for the moment. High 5, just 5 laps to go. Now for Alex Van de Sant and Isaac Morris running in the 1st and 2nd position right here. Isaac Morris now leads Van de Sant back down the backstretch. Gonna use that inside lane, force Van de Sant to run the high line back into turn number 3. Van de Sant not gonna have the momentum, not gonna be able to keep it up. Here comes the crossover late off of 4. Looking to the bottom of the speedway. Here comes Van de Sant, drag race to the line. I do believe Van de Sant got it at the line as these drivers mixing it up hard right here. Some great racing action at the end of tonight's Michigan 200, brought to you by BK Paints. And now running back inside those podium positions, there you can see Velocity Online Racing Team driver Julian Altena, your defending series champion, running the extremely, oh my goodness, into the outside wall. Looking to see who that was. Hard impact with that outside wall. I believe that was Gavin Sanders, and indeed it was. You can see that wound at number 90 carrying on around the bottom of the speedway. Tough break late in the going for Gavin Sanders. And caution flag has come out. Caution flag flies. Caution flag gonna fly for the wounded machine of Gavin Sanders. That's gonna put us down to a green-white checkered finish here in the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Series. Oh my goodness, things about to get busy, things about to get big late in the going here tonight in Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Series. Drivers, will they come to pit road? They were last on to pit road back at lap number 68. So very old tires, upwards of, what's that, about 30 lap old tires. Drivers do not necessarily need the fuel to get to the end, but which one of these drivers very well may gamble and come down and get those 4 fresh Firestones and try to see if that doesn't help them out, try to see if that can't help them gain some positions, because we've only got 11 drivers left on the lead lap. So, I mean, you got to give yourself a shot, right? And nobody gonna come to pit road. Everybody gonna stay out. Everybody gonna stay out there with those older tires. Looks like nobody wants to come out. No, looks like, well, that's why no green, white, checkered here. So we will see tonight's Michigan 200 brought to you by BK Paints come to a conclusion under the caution flag here tonight. White flag in the air for your race leader. Alex Van de Zandt gonna walk away with the race win. Had the lead when the caution flag came out, so a big moment there. And Alex Van de Zandt gonna secure that win. Isaac Morris gonna slide in the second spot. Julian Altina gonna finish tonight's race back in the third position. So big time shout out to Julian Altina as well as Thomas Gessler. Gessler ran inside your top 5, inside your top 10 pretty much all race long. And finishing in that fourth position, Gessler with a fine run here tonight. Rounding out your top 5, there you can see him. Adam Niki Racing, Luis Gonzalez Nunez with a fine run here tonight. Only able to improve his starting position 1 spot, but still finishing tonight's race inside the top 5. Great points day for Luis Gonzalez Nunez. And a great day for Alex Van de Zandt. Walking away with the race win. There you can see the pace car will lead this field to the checkered flag. Race win for Alex Van de Zandt in the Michigan 200. Presented to you by BK Paints. There you can see all the drivers now let go and free. Van de Zandt will make his way around the track. And we will slowly make our way down towards pit road down there to try to get our post-race interviews all set up. So we're going to take a brief commercial break. Then we will be back trackside for your post-race interviews right here from Michigan International Speedway. So don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back. And back trackside here from Michigan International Speedway at the conclusion of the Michigan 200. Brought to you by BK Paints, established back in 2013. If you're looking for a fresh paint, a fresh livery, head on over to BK Paints on Facebook.com. Well, another fine one in the books here tonight for us on the Turn 3 Racing Network for the Velocity Online Racing round number 8. Let's see if we can't catch in a few words with the driver finishing in the final podium spot here tonight, walking away with third on the track tonight. Julian Alternates, Dave in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. Hello.
Hey, man, how you doing? That's 2 podium spots in a row for you. How you feeling?
Honestly, pretty good, man. Real life has been a little bit difficult for me the last couple of days, just some stuff not going my way. But I'm glad to get a podium here. It was a really good race. Decided to hang in the back at the beginning and then slowly work my way forwards. And had a great team behind me to help me with that as well, especially Gavin, who had a really unfortunate incident at the end. But we worked together really well throughout the beginning and the mid part of the race. And yeah, Michigan was always one of my favorite tracks. And yeah, just happy to get a good result in. And yeah, the last race of the season next week. Gateway, not one of my strongest tracks, but yeah, we'll see.
Well, Julian, you mentioned it already. Just one race left here in season number 3. Then we'll take a short little break there before we kick off season number 4. Walk us through the mind state of being a back-to-back champion, coming in as the defending series champion, and not being able to have a shot for that championship come the season finale at Gateway.
Can't win them all. That's all I can say, really.
That's a good outlook. I'll take that answer. I mean, that's a good one.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the first 2 seasons were, of course, really difficult to win, and this one's even been more difficult. And the preparation could have and probably should have been a little bit better. I should have probably focused a little bit more on the race runs during practices. So that's something that I got to work on for the coming races and the coming season. Not that I don't know how to race the tracks, but with the new tire model especially coming in, I think that kind of affected my performance a little bit personally. So yeah, we got a season under our belts now with the new tire model and the damage model. So I think next season everything's going to be a little bit more equal because everybody's got that experience. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that, and look to see my team back up front with Oscar, Gary, myself, and next season Gavin.
All right, Julian. Well, again, as we said, man, it's been a pleasure watching you at the end of last season as well as all season long this year in season number 3. Hope to catch up with you again in post-race interviews at Gateway if we can, but if not, it's been a heck of a season. Congratulations on another podium finish here tonight in the Michigan 200 presented to you by BK Paints. Before we let you go, would you like to give any shout-outs, thank yous, love yous, thank anybody on that one?
Yes, of course, to my team. Gavin, I guess, as well. He's not official on the team yet, but Oscar, Gary, Robert. Robert had a really bad race, by the way. That was just really unfortunate as well in the beginning of the race. And want to thank the sponsors of the league tonight, BK Paints, for sponsoring the race, and of course Race First as the prize pool sponsor, title sponsor of the league. So thanks to Matt for providing that prize pool. It's much appreciated, as is mentioned every week on the broadcast, because it really is. So yeah, thank you to him and to you as well for broadcasting, and looking forward to next week and next season where you will be returning. So
all right, Julian, my man. Well, once again, man, congratulations on a great run here tonight and a heck of a season. Even though you're not quite where you want to be, we'll see if we can't catch up with you next week at Gateway.
Yep, thank you. See ya.
All right, there you have it. Final few words from the driver walking away in the third and final podium spot here tonight. Driver inside of that one machine, Julian Altena. And that's going to bring us to the driver that walked away with the second place on the track tonight. Walking away in second tonight, Isaac Morris. Man, how you doing? How you feeling? You got a copy?
I do, yes. I'm feeling pretty good after that race.
Well, I want to look at a big picture here. You finished second here tonight, but you had yourself an 18-point advantage coming into tonight's race. Dakota DiMaggio, your closest competition, he didn't quite have the night you did. How you feeling about your championship heading into the final race?
I'm not going to be complacent at all. So just did some quick maths now. I'm going to have a 31-point lead over Dakota. So like next week's going to be crucial to finish in the top 10. If I don't finish in the top 10 next week, and if Dakota wins, gets fastest lap pole and leads the most laps, that would be it for me. Like, so I'm not going to be complacent. I'm not saying yes, I've got this in the bag, but I've definitely got my goals for next week now, and I just need to show up Thursday, Friday with the right mindset.
All right, well, taking a methodical, more calculated approach to the championship. You've had some great runs all throughout the year. You've had multiple podium finishes. We didn't quite get to highlight what you did at Canada up there at Cirque Gilles Villeneuve. Walk us through what it took to come through the field the way that you did back then, as well as coming through the field the way you did here tonight, up 15 spots from where you started tonight's race. You made one heck of a run through the field tonight here, too.
Thank you. So my initial thought about getting through the field was like, just take it one lap at a time. The race isn't going to be won straight away. Like with a track like Michigan, it's going to be won on, the last lap. So I had to put myself in a position that I could compete for that, but unfortunately we had the yellow flag. But I managed to get myself up into that sort of potential winning position where I could be fighting Alex for the win. But just got unfortunate with the yellow flag. But so just making my way through the field tonight was just one lap at a time, one position at a time. The pit stops really helped as well because I gained like 3 or 4 positions in the first pit stop, which put me in a really good place to be up in the top 5 for most of the race.
Well, man, it was another fine run for you and that 63 crew. Congratulations, hats off with another podium finish here tonight, and we'll look forward to how you go and see how things shake out next week when we hit Gateway for the season finale, the championship on the line for you. Got to have a solid run. We'll wish you the best on that, and man, congratulations once again on the second place. Before we let you go, you want to give any shout-outs, thank yous, love yous, thank anybody on that 63?
So I'd like to give a shout-out to Raceverse. They've been a great team this season. Had a lot of support of all the drivers and a lot of support of Matt as well. He's a great team boss, and it's honestly a pleasure to be driving with Raceverse, and especially with us tonight securing the team championship. It is mathematically impossible now for anyone else to win the team championship in the last race. Even if we all crash out, there's no way. So I would like to congratulate Dakota, Matt, Dave Steadman, and myself for putting in a good show and a good effort all year to secure all season, to secure the team championship. And I want to give a shout out to Sunset Arctic Games for being our main title sponsor, and I'd like to give a shout out to all the Velocity Online racing crew for putting on a great league.
All right, my man. Well, again, congratulations on another great, solid run here tonight in the Michigan 200 presented to you by BK Paints. And we'll look forward to catching up with you next week as you try to chase down that championship trophy.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
There you have it. Final words from the driver that finished in the second spot here tonight. Isaac Morris taking a very calculated, very professional, if you will, approach to the championship. The mathematical possibility for it to slip away still there for Morris, so he is still on not necessarily on edge, still focused very much so on what he has got to do to complete this championship run here this season in Velocity Online Racing season number 8. So a big time shout out and a job well done finishing in that second position. here tonight for Isaac Morrison. That's going to bring us to none other than your race winner, walking away with the checkered flag here from the Michigan 200, presented to you by BK Paints. Alex Van de Sand is Dave in the booth. You got a copy?
I gotcha.
Hey, man, how you feeling after winning this thing?
Pretty great. That was a lot of fun. It's a shame it ended under yellow, but it was a toss-up between Isaac and I. So great battle for had to be like 60 or 70 laps there, but lots of fun.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Hate that it ended under caution, but to some extent, you had to been a little bit relieved that you weren't going to have to actually have a stressful end, because you and Morris, man, you guys swapped the race lead, I don't know, upwards of 40, 50 times, all just between yourselves. Yeah,
twice a lap. I was leading most of those laps at the end, but we at that point, I think we were just focused on keeping up momentum, not holding each other up, and keeping Julian or Thomas or whoever behind us. Yeah, then at the end, it was up in the air. I had a plan. He said he had a plan. It was going to be tight.
Well, it was tight indeed, all race long between you two drivers. Walk us through the mindset of the final two races of this season. You're outside of winning a championship. How tough is it for you, or how easy is it for you to just kind of throw caution to the wind and just go out there and just try to win every race that you can?
Right now, my main focus is on wins. This will, I'm pretty sure, put me third in the championship, but it's still a long way off from Isaac at Gateway. So, realistically, the championship's going to be unlikely. So, yeah, you're right. The main focus now is just learning as much as I can and, racking up wins and good results for the team and for my sponsors.
Well, Alex, man, it was a pleasure watching you out there on the track all race long. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see you battle it out for those final 2-3 laps there for the actual race win, but still, nonetheless, you did capture the flag, captured that checkered flag, and you're sitting in victory lane. So congratulations once again on a job well done here tonight from Michigan International Speedway. Before we let you go and enjoy this victory, would you like to give any shout-outs, thank yous, love yous, thank anybody on the side of the 17?
Big thanks to Happy Trails Chili Company, as well as lmcgear.com. So now, actually, with Happy Trails, you can order a packet of chili mix from Amazon. It's available now. So go check that out. And and big shout out to Craig. He was in my ear the whole race. He had an issue with the wall that took away a bunch of speed from him, but he hung in there. He's been doing well.
All right, well, again, congratulations, Alex, on a great race win here tonight. And we'll look forward to seeing if we can't catch up with you before the end of season number 3 here next week at Gateway.
Thanks, Dave.
There you have it. Final words from the driver walking away with the checkered flag, capturing it all here tonight. Your race winner for the Michigan 200, presented to you by BK Paints. Inside that 17 Dallara IR18, Alex Van de Sand getting the job done here tonight. Whew, my goodness. What a night it was here for round number 8. Just one more race to go next week at the Worldwide Technology Raceway. That's right, Gateway on tap for the season finale here in season number 3 for the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar League. My goodness, another great one in the books, and it looks like producers ready to run down tonight's unofficial race results, so we'll get that going for you right about now. There you can see, walking away with the race win in the top spot here in the Michigan 200, presented to you by BK Paints in season number 3, round number 8 for Velocity Online Racing, the 17 of Alex Van de Sand. Finishing in second here tonight, your points leader coming into tonight's race, the 63 of Isaac Morris. Walking away in third in the final podium spot, the 1 of Julian Altena. Thomas Gessler going to slot home in fourth, while the 15 of Luis Gonzalez Nunez finishes in the 15th spot. Dakota DeMage right there in 6th. Gary Gotso gonna slot home in 7th. Christian Alesio gonna bring his 81 machine home in the 8th spot. Oscar Fredrickson back in 9th, and rounding out your top 10 last driver on the lead lap, the 44 of John Christensen. The 22 of Michael Jeffries gonna slot home in the 11th spot. The first car 1 lap down. Matt Houston gonna finish in 12th. Christopher Kresge walking away in a 13th. Christian Jasper in 14th. 15th place goes to the 27 of Greg Forsyth, while Gavin Sanders has some trouble late in the going. He'll finish back in 16th. 17th goes to the 11 of Oscar Gonzalez. Victor Santos with some trouble gonna finish tonight's race back in the 18th position. 19th goes to Diego Perino. Shane Coogan caught up early here tonight and taken out of the race. Last week's race winner not able to repeat. He'll finish back in 20th. 48 of Marcus Hudson had some trouble as well, finishing in 21st. 22nd goes to Powell Rodriguez. Bart Feurenstein gonna finish in 23rd. Robert Sadler walking away from the track here tonight in the 24th spot. And a big shout out to Lewis Woodall. Big trouble out on a very early incident here tonight. The 59 gonna finish back in that 25th and final position here tonight for the Michigan 200, presented to you by BK Paints. With all that being said, do want to take a brief moment to mention all the sponsors here in the series and tonight at the track. Do want to take a big time moment to thank BK Paints coming on as tonight's title sponsor in the Michigan 200. BK Paints, established back in 2013. If you're looking for a NASCAR paint or you need a wing sprint car done, those are some specialties provided to you by BK Paints over there. You can check them out on Facebook.com. If you need a fresh delivery, check them on out. BK Paints. Also want to give a big time shout out to the series sponsor all year long, Raceverse, and the great job they've done behind the scenes. And a big time shout out and tip of the cap also to Raceverse's very own Matt Hudson for all the commitment and dedication that he has shown, not just this series, but the entire league. Raceverse sponsoring the $100 prize pool in the Individual Drivers Championship this season. Also on board to do so next year, so they'll continue to be a strong backbone here in Velocity Online Racing. And looks like, with all that said, all that done, man, oh man, it's been a great season so far. Just one race left to go here for Velocity Online Racing in season number 3. Join us next week when we head right on back to the track. We'll go ahead and throw up next season's schedule for you for just a brief moment. There you see it. There you have it. That's what it looks like. That's the rundown for season number 4. Coming up here in just a handful of weeks. If you haven't already, head on over and sign on up the league directories. You can find Velocity Online Racing right here on iRacing.com, the world's #1 racing simulator. And with all that said, ladies and gentlemen, it's a new day, new year. But stay safe, stay loved, my friends. Until next time, we'll meet you in turn 3.